Good morning, student. Today we start theme 9, the Kings and Chronicles. This is our last chapter of second book. Today I will give you the introduction of this chapter and then I will tell you about the Mughals and their empire. Kings and Chronicles. Here in this first slide you see we will discuss uh, about the Mughal courts in this chapter from 16th and the 17th centuries. Here you see these were the great rulers of the Mughals or the all of the Mughal courts. The first one here you see the Babur who ruled in India from 1526 to 1530. Then Humayun from 1530 to 1556. Then the Akbar 1556 to 1605. Then Jahangir 1605 to 1627. Then the next descendant Shah Jahan 1627 to 1658, and the last great ruler of this Mughal empire was the Aurangzeb 1658 to 1707. The Mughal kings commissioned court historians to write the accounts. These accounts recorded the events of the emperor's time. On that time, in the in the Mughal courts, there were the writers, those who write the events of the at the time of these different Mughals kings. In addition, their rights collected vast amount of information from the region of the subcontinent to help the rulers to govern their domain. So all these writers they were collected the information from near and far away places, and that information on that time was very helpful to the rulers to govern of on this domain. Modern historians writing in English have termed this genre of the text chronicles, as they present a continuous chronological records of events. These chronicles are an indispensable. Indispensable means very essential source for any scholars wishing to write a history of the Mughals. If anyone want to write to on the Mughals, so these chronicles are the very important source for our scholars if they want to write anything about the Mughals. Now we start our first topic, the Mughals and their empire. The name Mughal derived from the Mongol. Though today the term evokes the grandeur of an empire, it was not the name of the rulers of their dynasty chose for themselves. They referred to themselves as the Timurids, as the descendant of the Turkish ruler Timur on the paternal side. I think you listen the name of the Temujin. He was a Turkish ruler, and they referred themselves as the descendant of the Timur. And Babur was the first Mughal ruler who was also related to the Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan from his mother's side. He spoke Turkish very well and referred derisively to the Mongols as the barbaric herders. Barbaric herders means giroh, like a Daku's giroh. During the 16th century, Europeans used to term Mughal to describe the Indian ruler of his this branch of the family. It means in that during the 16th century, when the Britishers they came in the India, they were also called them the Mughals. Jahiruddin Muhammad, popularly known as the Babur, he was the founder of this Mughal Empire, who founded the Mughal Empire in 1526 by defeating the Ibrahim Lodi, the last Lodi Sultan of Delhi. Okay, and his successor Nasiruddin Humayun. After the death of the Babur, his son Nasiruddin Humayun in 1530 to 40 and then 55 to 56 expanded the frontiers of the empire, but lost it to the Afghan leader Sher Shah Suri, who drove him into the exile. It means after 1540 he was defeated by the Sher Shah Suri, and Humayun then took the refuge in the court of the Safavid ruler of the Iran. But in after the death of the Sher Shah Suri, his dynasty, Suri dynasty, became weak. Then in 1555, Humayun attacked on the descendant of the Sher Shah Suri, and then Humayun defeated the Surs, but he was also died after a year later. Then Jalaluddin Muhammad Akbar. This was the full name of the Akbar from 1556 to 1605. A very long term. He was the greatest ruler of all the Mughal emperors, and he expanded and consolidated the empire. Akbar had three fairly able successors in Jahangir, Shah Jahan, and then the Aurangzeb. Much as their characters varied, they had their different features. Shah Jahan, Jahangir, or the Aurangzeb. Under them, the territorial expansion continued. All these three kings, they had the different features, but they expanded their empire and made a very great buildings. And Shah Jahan, this ruler was also known as the engineer king. And though at a much reduced pace, now during the 16th and 17th century, the institution of the imperial structures were created. These included effective method of the administration and the taxation. During the 16th and 17th century, this Mughal Empire, the rulers of this Mughal Empire, they hold this in India, the administration and everything very well. In 1707, following the death of the Aurangzeb, the power of this dynasty diminished or destroyed in place of the vast apparatus of empire controlled from Delhi, Agra, or Lahore. These were the different capitals on that time of the Mughals emperors. And the regional power acquired the greater autonomy. Yet, symbolically, the prestige of the Mughal ruler did not lose its aura. In 1857, the last scion or the heir of this dynasty, Bahadur Shah Jaffar II, was overthrown by the Britishers, and after that, this dynasty was uh, this was Bahadur Shah Jaffar was the last heir of this dynasty, and after the death of the Bahadur Shah Jaffar, this dynasty was the autonomy who is saying that was diminished. Okay, student, thank you.